Добрый вечер.
Good evening. I can hear you.
Собрались на очень интересном.
So we are gathered here for a very interesting event
Тема.
and going to have a very hot discussion, and we start in maybe 3 or 2 minutes.
А вот так нормально? Но его и не надо прям?
Do you hear me well? We're checking.
А где у него этот прием? С торца или? Вот так вот, да? Ага. Так, я предлагаю вот эти кадры убрать.
Телефонный или звучный?
А как мы поймем, что пора начинать? Что? А? Ну, у меня уже 18 просто. На моих часах. Нам аудитории не ждать людей? Хорошо. А какие-то это надо? Благодарим там дедушку, бабушку, что мы тут все собрались. Нет? Особая благодарность там как-нибудь Лукойлу.
Ну что, время раскрыть интригу. Простите, я запишу небольшой сторис. Я в Уфе.
Ну, когда у нас спикеры записывают сторис, надо тоже записать сторис. В общем, сейчас начинаем сессию. Так, ладно, Дмитрий, знаете, сразу, чтобы у нас поножовщины не было в эфире. Вы тогда дадите отмашку, как начинаем? Мы готовы, потому что. В таких случаях можно залы не снимать, что. А второй экран есть. Да, так что. А кликер тоже есть. Да, можно. Ждем отмашку. Вы хотите еще одну сторис? Что-то пошло не так. Многочисленным зрителям? Переводчики зрителям? Ну да. А подскажите, от слушателей из онлайна могут быть вопросы? И выведут ли нам их? Или не рассчитывать на это?
Теоретически, после их доклада можете им задавать вопросы, я их оставляю какое-то время в эфире, если, собственно говоря, к нему уже больше блока вопросов нет или что-то еще, мы его после этого закрываем. Все.
А если не секрет, сколько там в онлайне?
Все сейчас 1, 2, 3, 4 человека.
Отлично.
Все онлайн-спикеры, которые должны быть.
Нет, а зрителей?
А зрителей не знаю, к сожалению.
Да-да-да, ну 4 зрителя.
Зрители в зуме не находятся, они смотрят просто по стриму онлайн-трансляцию, и все. Их количество мы можем узнать только после окончания по статистике.
Так, а микрофон вы включаете или через кнопку?
Не надо ничего нажимать. Ну что, начинаем? А то у нас тайм.
So let us start.
Товарищи организаторы, дайте
Dear organizers, give us the floor.
Всем добрый вечер.
Good evening.
Мы собрались в этом
We
замечательном
gathered
зале.
together in this wonderful hall to discuss the topic,
Нас всех интересует.
which is very
Активно.
actively developed this year.
Начало у нее звучит
The
не очень,
beginning
а на самом
is very sad, which is connected with coronavirus, and trend is a good word, so coronavirus trends,
за этот год
this
мир очень сильно поменялся.
development of these words
Самое
we
важное,
see
наверное, что
in the changing world of today, and our habits have changed,
онлайне стало
and now having
нормально.
online meetings, online
Мы стали
office meetings is okay,
стали покупать
and now we buy online.
молодежь.
And now everyone buys online, not only
Говоря, мы здесь
young
для того, чтобы обсудить,
people,
как
but
этот
also
год повлиял
people,
на эти тренды,
elderly
какие
people.
сейчас есть тренды,
So we are
попробуем
gathered
в конце
together here to discuss the trends,
и понять,
to give the outlook into the future, and to understand what we have.
замечательных спикеров.
So let me introduce the speakers that we have here.
Кирилл Игнатьев,
So Kirill Ignatiev,
директоров групп
the
компании «Русский
head of the Russian investment group company groups, and the head of the project Technical Progress and Economy of the Future.
спикера, который
We have the two great speakers who came to Ufa.
Дмитрий,
On the right, we have Dmitry Haskin, executive director of the Alibaba.com service company, PLC. Dmitry.
слева от меня
On the left, we may see Tatiana Maximova, a charming lady who is a Cosmopolitan Shopping chief editor.
единицы иностранных
And also we will have
стран, торговый атташе,
a
торговый
commercial attaché
Генерального консула Республики
of the Consulate General of the Republic of Turkey in Kazan, Mr. Ismet Özkan.
еще
And also we have two more online speakers, Alexey Valov, general manager of Wildberries online shop. Alexey.
онлайн. И
Hello.
Александр Чайков.
And Alexander Chaika, who is the head of the selling department, Zone Smart. So my name is Andreev Nikolai. I am the director of communication group Big Jack,
Это интересно.
and I'm glad that I have the right to moderate this wonderful event. Let's start.
Дадим слово
We shall start. We will give the floor to online. So the first floor will be from Kirill Ignatiev,
инвестиции.
the Russian investment group of companies.
Он как раз обещал
We are waiting for his speech because he promised to tell us about some future trends.
Уважаемые друзья,
Good evening, dear friends. Yes, I am a futurologist, but
сегодняшнего
let's start with today, with the trends of today that are active,
коронавирус активизировал
turned active by pandemic and coronavirus.
конную коммерцию усилился.
Of course, the trend for e-commerce goes up, and I would like to pay your attention to
Других аспектов.
some other aspects of this trend. First, I would like to say that offline
Обслуживать онлайн.
learned how to serve online, and it happens totally, not only in e-commerce, not only in the projects working from Skype, for example, but also we speak here about shops and restaurants, and they
Приходят посмотреть.
turned out to be some platform, and people come there to check
Товары.
something, and then they start shopping
Конечно, вы
online. And e-commerce, of course,
успешный стартап.
one of the main successful startups is Ozon startup,
Внедрен
which
крупнейшими российскими сетями.
is introduced by the biggest companies platforms, and it allows video streams with trade sales representatives from the shops. So you may go to the page, and then you may ask for the meeting with a consultant, and then you start getting consultations, and this online turns very close to offline in this way. So an online goes up in their quality of the services so that it is very close to offline services. So I think that in the future we will be able to choose the good, the way we do it in a real offline shop. Online becomes the most important thing. Not all most of the companies understood, and other companies start to understand this process. And my colleagues will continue this talking about this speech. And the turnover of the sales turnover also speaks about this. So then, further, we speak about the personalization trend. So if we take a look into the future, and there we are getting personalized services and products like medicine, and also a very important field appeared here, so customized services. So how do you understand such services? Only the delivery. This is the mechanism of the work. So some good that you can't buy in a shop. So this trend will go further and bigger with every year, and this trend will we will still have shops, but they will play less important role. And there we will get standard products, standard goods, and the volume of them on the market will be lower. So most of the companies now go to the personalized deliveries and personalized trade. So big commercial groups will compete on the speed of delivery. So we may think about a genie that comes from the bottle and helps you like in a minute or two with your desires. And there we speak that the services will work in this way also, not only the flowers delivery. Then we also go that the shadow economy will go also, and we will, in 3 or 4 years, we will see the most large-scale shadow competing, and these are the trends of the future that will appear near, and then it will lead to appearing of almost free of charge products and services. So many years ago there was the story about when you buy the phones together with the SIM cards, and it happened many years ago, and nowadays we see that this trend will go on. So for example, one day even the bread will become smart, and there will be the chips that will scan our body, and people would pay for the scanning of the body and not for the bread, maybe even. So this also speak about the experiments in Germany for free transport, and the cities won because they got more from the taxes, more than they lost for paying to this free transportation. So in some more positions, I would like to say that
Во время пандемии продаж
the level of
в средствах социальных коммуникаций
social communication
и постоянно растет.
and the share amount of social networks grows up.
Если у нас голосовой интерфейс увеличился,
So voice interface becomes very trendy this way,
интерфейсы делаются.
and like a lot of
Скоро будет
so new,
товары, голосовое общение.
like voice ordering and such kind of services we think will be very popular soon, and it's a very interesting problem how to choose the product, because nowadays somehow it is difficult to find a proper product, and now there are large platforms which sell everything, and we need to move to the small companies that sell smaller amount of goods, and this is a big challenge for big companies, as we may call them, of how to sell more personalized goods. In such interfaces, appearing of such and creating such interfaces is the biggest trend for future, and that's what I would like to say within the framework of the pandemic situation that gave us. Thank you.
Thank you for your speech. I also would like to mention to the viewers, our online viewers, that you have an opportunity to answer the questions and for you to ask the questions at the end of our session. Even right now, Kirill, I have one question prepared for you, so be ready. The next person to take floor is Dmitry Haskell, an executive director of official service company Alibaba.com, Paul LLC. So today I would like to talk about the current trends in e-commerce during the pandemic, starting from April of 2020, when it gained its power. Nowadays, one of the current trends is not just the amount of customers which we have right now, but also a lot of new tools which are operating. For example, chats became very active right now, and they're used not only for talks, but also the creation of neurons nets, when the customer and also the seller could discuss and also could interact with each other and reach the agreement on the trade. Also, the amount of sales increased, for example, Alibaba.com, due to the different tools applied, which were quite unusual and also quite rare in other platforms, made an increase in 60% of the world sales around. Which countries usually buy from Russian manufacturers? I could name USA, India, and Canada, and Brazil. I also would like to notify among them we have Russia, because there are a lot of customers from Russia who try to find the clients abroad, and also there were a lot of Russian manufacturers which attend the platform right now. Because of the cost of the transfer, the low amount of taxation, they prefer Russian companies. If we take into consideration the difference and the increase among the active sellers and also the amount of and also the amount of
Чем у нас, в принципе, Россия популярна именно по продукции, по ее качеству, по экологичности, и поэтому производители пользуются наибольшим спросом.
Ecology, I could say that right now it is in demand not only among Chinese customers, but also the countries of Africa, agriculture, different types of feed. And one of the trends which we have right now for at least 2 years, due to pandemic, first of all, as the skincare and beauty sphere, because a large amount of components, natural components, are produced here in Siberia. This category has a great increase. I also added that during the pandemic, quite a big amount of people stay together in their couples or families. That's why women try to look better, and it's one of the cases why they become so popular. Another consumer goods which are preferable due to pandemic are some fitness items, also art items, because people try to enrich their life in this, having some physical activity and also some art activity, just because they would like to have more hobbies to distract themselves from pandemic. Also, nowadays we have paintings with numbers, which are very popular right now, especially for the export from Russia during the pandemic. I also would like to notify online exhibitions. Online exhibitions gain popularity not only due to the lockdown and the borders which were locked, no flights at all. Now we have a lot of tools to organize them. That's why we have a lot of presentations of different items around the day. And there is an opportunity to download a great amount of presentations, and also to motivate the sales like this. Apart from that, we are also involved into the trade with other countries. We would like to draw attention, which we also have Arab countries, even if they are mostly interested in face-to-face contact, just because they need to meet you, shake your hands, have a conversation. Even with them right now, we have online conversations in the frame of a platform. Why do we have such a tendency? Just because quite a big amount of companies gained this trust, and they could analyze the history of a seller, also the rating on the platform, the speed of answer. They also have a verification on the platform that they do really exist. They download their documents, and also we have a direct interviewing of the sellers, and in accordance with the exhibition held further, the requirements could be changed a bit. If you have a good content, also an abundance of different events on the platform, you'll have an opportunity to offer your goods. Also, there are other stages. After registration, we have a payment, and now I would like to stress that nowadays a lot of regions of Russia give an opportunity for subsidies to be placed on the marketplace. And I believe that it is a good trend and a good driver for the development of Russian companies on international trade market. As I think it's the basis which I wanted to mention today. Thank you. Dmitry, thank you. You just meet the minutes. I see a great experience in speech and taking the floor. Now we would like to invite Ismet Oskan, the commercial attaché of the Republic of Turkey in Kazan.
Do you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Where are you now?
I can't hear you.
You can hear me. Where are you now?
I am in Kazan now, and tomorrow I will fly to Ufa.
Okay, we will be waiting for you. Okay,
Thank you so much.
you have
So
10.
let's start.
Okay, you have 10 minutes for your conversation. You can start, please.
Once again, hello. My name is İsmet Özkan. I am working as trade attaché at the Turkish consulate in Kazan. Today, I am here to talk to you about e-commerce market in Turkey and how it changed and developed, namely, during the pandemic period in Turkey. Next slide, please. My presentation consists of two parts. Next slide, please. First, I will speak of e-commerce in Turkey. Then, I will look at the changes in the e-commerce that were caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. Next slide, please. Let me start with some general information on e-commerce in Turkey. According to Turkey Statistics Institute 2020 data, the population increased to 83.1 million, and the internet usage has risen to 79%. On one hand, a study conducted by Nielsen in 2018 shows that 4% of Turkish consumers shop online every day, while 46% of them order products and services online just a few times per month. In Turkey, almost $200 are spent online per capita.
Практически
The world average is
20 миллионов денег,
$900.
средства были потрачены на онлайн-продажи.
Turkish e-commerce market is still not
И
at the
мы
desired
видим,
level.
что турецкий
is
онлайн-рынок
promising.
не настолько
In the second part
притягательный, но довольно
of this slide, we see the most clicked e-commerce sites in Turkey.
готов к
We can say that
движению. Мы можем сказать,
similar
что
to Wildberries, Gidiyor is similar to Ozonru, and Yemek
есть компании в Турции, которые похожи на крупных игроков мировых, типа Wildberries или Озон.
Now I want to
И
continue
сейчас я хочу продолжить
a joint report by Turkey's Informatics Industry Association and Dilek Turkey
о информации с турецкой.
the e-commerce sector in Turkey has
И
continued
согласно
in 2019, and market volume has been increased by 18% compared to the previous year to $14.6 billion. In terms of Turkish liras, the increase was 35%. When we analyze the e-commerce market size by years since 2015, could you please change the slide? It is seen that there is an average annual growth of 13%. Indeed, if we examine the growth rates on the basis of categories, it turns out that pure online retail has grown by 15% in the same period. After online retail, travel and legal betting are the most developing categories. Next slide. As you can see on our next slide, it is understood that the number of e-commerce websites went up to 760 from 728 in 2019. And the number of websites in all categories except travel has also increased. Next slide. The top 3 countries where a share of online retail has the most in total retail stand out as China, United Kingdom, and United States of America. Here, if we compare Turkey and Russia, we see that Russia has a higher share of online sales. Next slide. As can be seen from the graph, in Turkey, the share of online retail in total retail, measured as 5.3% in 2018, has increased to 6.2% in 2019. Moreover, the rate of online sales has been rising every year since 2015. On the other hand, for developing countries, including Poland, India, Brazil, and Russia, the share of online retail in total retail is 6.7%. But with the current pace of growth, Turkey is expected to catch up with these countries soon. Now, I would like to move on the next part. Next slide. The e-commerce figures in 2020. The January-June figure hit $14.2 billion, up from $9.98 billion. And this means, in terms of Turkish liras, it equals 60% increases. Next slide, please. When we look at the course of e-commerce in total trade, we see that its share has increased compared to last year. During the same period, orders via the internet rose from 558 million units to 850 million. In addition, it is worth noting that since February, when the pandemic began to show its effects, e-commerce has decreased less than the total trade. Why did this happen? Because the COVID-19 pandemic has transformed consumer behavior, and as a result, the shopping traffic has gradually decreased through sales channels such as stores and shopping malls, while the share of e-commerce in total retail sales has increased. What can we see on our next slide? Next slide, please. We can see that the share of e-commerce in the country's total trade reached 14.2% in January-June, up from 8.4% in the same period last year. In addition, during the intensive lockdown measures, the increase rates in e-commerce are remarkable. Next slide. So, which sectors have increased most? Food and markets saw the highest rise in transactions via debit and credit cards, up 400% on an annual basis, followed by the software sector over 100%, garden furniture and decoration sector, clothing and household appliances. Next slide. On the other hand, looking at the sectors that are declining the most, airlines, transport, accommodation, entertainment have seen the biggest declines in e-commerce volumes. Next slide. Finally, I would like to talk about which the products demand has increased and which ones have decreased dramatically during the period when the effects of COVID have been felt most intensely. It is clear that accommodation, travel, and airlines have been the most affected sectors due to quarantine measures taken. Conversely, food, supermarket, chemicals, household appliances have risen strikingly. In summary, the COVID-19 pandemic crisis not only significantly changed people's consumption habits around the world, but also initiated a social transformation. Social and commercial life has been highly forced to digitize due to the pandemic. The fact is that internet technology is in a continuous state of development, and the rapid spread of this development has affected customers' consumer cultures globally. Due to the measures taken in the pandemic crisis, the volume of e-commerce in Turkey and also all around the world has increased. Although stay-at-home orders have been lifted by the states, meanwhile, millions of consumers have acquired and strengthened new online buying behaviors and habits. Even when the pandemic loses its effect, I think e-commerce sales will continue to increase because of these new habits and behaviors. Moreover, e-commerce has many advantages for both sellers and customers, such as being fast, convenient, and cheap. During the pandemic, both customers and sellers have become more aware of these advantages, and they will be willing to continue to take advantage of those. That is why I believe that the future is in e-commerce, and I recommend the companies that want to do business in both Turkey and Russia should develop strategies which include e-commerce channels. That's all I got to say. Thank you for all listening. With my respects.
Conversation. Дальше мы передаем слово
Further, we give the floor to Tatiana Maximova.
который
Right now, she is a chief editor of the journal Cosmopolitan Shopping. First of all, I'd like to ask, how did you reach Ufa? It was a flood, and I could say that I was waiting for the flights, and it was the first time when I had a flight this year. I'd like to congratulate you with it. Thank you. I would like to talk about the trends of fashion industry, shopping, as the representative of Cosmopolitan Shopping magazine. Not long ago, there was a conference, one of the largest representative in the fashion industry, business to fashion, together with the agency McKinsey, and they also sum up the results and gave a lot of highlights on the fashion industry right now. And the general director of Farfetch, one of the giant online shops, which gained a lot of profit for this year, and they would be very thankful for this year. Hossein started with the fact that we should stop, make a difference between digital and non-digital trade, because this year combined both online and offline commerce. And also the experts confirm that they have no opportunity right now to make a division into digital and non-digital. They just need to make special strategies right now to build, just because pandemic didn't form the trends, but it boosted the speed of the trends in fashion industry. And even if we had some complications right now, it is concentrated and people are trying to find the solutions for it. It's one of the tendencies that shopping and retail would become the main customers for the finding new solutions, new offers to their clients, and the development of IT opportunities. Also, my colleague from Alibaba company would also confirm the fact that one of the greatest tendencies which we have right now in China, and it would also reach Russia, is streaming shopping. They have a channel Taobao of Alibaba. It's one of the TV shop, a kind of sofa shop. When it's a streaming shop, when an influencer or a blogger has a stream or a broadcast showing the usage of this product, showing how it operates and also how it looks like in real life. Even if the sales reached $63 million the previous year, right now $130 billion in China. As other upcoming trends, the global players of the market have two ways of the development of the situation. As the decline for the 20% in 2021, and we will turn back to the numbers of 2019. Only in the third quarter of the year 2021, or the worst way, it will reach these numbers only in 2023. So the fashion industry would be also under the influence for several years. What else has changed? Online prevails than offline. How it influences on the goods. I could say that there is a threatening number that right now the percentage of 40% of clothing are still remains on the shelves. No one buys it, and it's the problem which had no solution for quite a long period of time. Just because we had the stable system of buying, for example, we have a manufacturer. When we have a mall, they have buyers or which buy the special amount of goods that they believe they could sell on in their shop. What about online shopping? Just due to the fact that now they had a direct opportunity to buy goods from the manufacturer, the manufacturer had an opportunity to have a dialogue with their customers about the colors, sizes, which are preferable and which are popular. As for the shops, we could say that there are a lot of the motivational goods which you were buying just due to the trend. But now the manufacturer could see that the picture is different and it would also influence the trend in fashion. Maybe it would be simplified, or they would see that people prefer more fancy, smart clothing. I think that's a great history, which will also see the results in several days in 2022 or 2023. I would like also to stress, you mentioned that one of the trends which were discussed is the fact that online and offline could not be separated right now just because there's something solid right now. Because offline is dying right now, or he has mentioned that previously it was two different types, two different fields of sales. For example, online, in online, I would prefer to buy something special, for example, some socks for my favorite shoes, but I would go and buy offline the loaf of bread. But right now, we could say that nowadays it becomes solid in our life. And due to the fact that the manufacturers are talking with us as with customers, they would like also to mention this. What about the crisis of our manufacturing? Where do we store everything? I could say that we have already got rid of parts of this abundance of these prevailing goods from the stores in Bangladesh. Oh, sorry. I'm a bit mixed up, and maybe I'll turn back when I will recollect it. And also, I would be very thankful if you will mention this aftermath. When we are talking about e-commerce, it becomes not just an old-fashioned variant, but nowadays we mostly have m-commerce, because most of the purchases are made with smartphones or mobile phones. It's also another task and trend which occurs in front of the producers that they should cover up their sales through websites or apps, or quite fitting the smartphone programs and so on. If they will also provide the opportunity to make Google Pay or other payment system, mobile payment system. Just because when we're talking about the fashion industry, purchases of fashion industry buys, it's mostly kind of impulsive shopping. And also as for commerce, there is an increasing role of big data. Quite giant, large online shops and medium online shops should develop their ways of attraction. For example, when you have a kind of discount for several days, it would not be that way attractive right now. Once I also tried to find a romper for my child, and then I received a letter to my email with a set of different rompers for the age I was searching for. it becomes easier to me, and I could choose among that items which were presented to me. So I see that we right now come to a kind of discussion, and maybe we'll have this burning topic further.
Призываем выступить Алексея с
Now,
фамилией Валов,
let's give the floor to Alexey Valov, the GR managers of the Wildberries online magazine. Alexey, are you with us? Yes.
Возможно, я ошибся в вашей фамилии, я это обычно всегда
Very
делаю.
much. Have I pronounced your
Алексей Валов.
family name correctly? Yes, that was correct.
Всё,
Valov.
всё, исправились.
So we correct.
Вам слово.
So we give the
Да,
floor
вы
to
где
you.
сейчас находитесь?
Where are you now?
Сейчас в Москве.
I am now in Moscow,
Как
from
у вас
home,
погода в Москве?
on the distance. So what's your weather? No, it's a bit chilly, but today we had a sunny day, so my mood is great. Thank you.
Замечательно. Вам слово.
So we give
Хорошего
the
вам
floor
выступления.
to you.
Спасибо.
Good luck.
Добрый день, уважаемые
Thank you. Good
участники форума.
evening, dear
Большое спасибо за
forum
приглашение
participants.
участвовать
Thank
в
you
данном
for inviting me
мероприятии, которое,
here.
на наш взгляд,
And
является
this
важным
event
драйвером
is a very
развития
important
предпринимательского
driver
климата в России.
for the commercial climate in Russia, and according to many researchers, the world
вырастет на $2 триллиона США и составит
e-commerce
$6,5
market
триллиона долларов.
will grow
Также хочется отметить, что Российская
significantly,
Федерация
and we
представляет собой
also
динамично
say that Russian
развивающийся рынок
Federation
онлайн-продаж,
is the very
занимая при этом
developing,
9-е место в мире
greatly
по темпу
developing
роста продаж
market
через каналы электронной торговли.
in
Также
the
подчеркну, что
e-commerce
общий
field,
мировой рост
and
составляет
we
около
also the
20%,
overall growth is about 10%,
соответственно, показывает, что
and
мы идем в ногу
according
со временем.
to it, and in
Также
Russia it's
позвольте мне
9%, and we
рассказать
see
о том,
that
что канал электронной
we are
торговли в настоящее
sharing
время
this
является
tendency.
одним из самых перспективных для производителей продукции.
So e-commerce and e-trading nowadays is one of the most up-to-date and modern and developing process. So online shops allow the manufacturers not to stop manufacturing process, but also introduce their companies to the new markets. And it's also important that nowadays you can choose your good that you need anytime. So next slide. So Wildberries, so let me talk about the company. This is the large-scale online retailer within the Eurasian Economic Union. It exists since 2004. We are the largest online shop, and nowadays we have over 120 billion goods in our stores. And our turnover of the company in 2019 was 223.5 billion rubles. So we have the goods of different categories: cosmetic, accessories, toys, and others. Next slide. So today Wildberries work in 8 countries. In 2020 we started selling in Poland, in Slovakia, so we also work in all countries of Eurasian Economic Union. So through Wildberries you may sell the goods not only in Russia but abroad. So the export abilities of our company will only grow, and our sales are the sales of the Russian manufacturers to. So we are developing. One of the most developing field is the field of goods connected with health. This. So next slide. In January, the turnover of our clients turned in for 14 billion people. So then nowadays, so we see that the things that they buy a little bit changed, because now they buy things more for home, and now the buyers appear 55 plus. This is the age of this age group. grew for 2.5 times.
Спрос на электронную торговлю, на канал электронной торговли, они станут также постоянными клиентами, которые будут совершать свои покупки в канал электронной коммерции. Еще один интересный тренд – это рост популярности таких покупок среди жителей небольших населенных пунктов.
And also one new trend is the clients from small cities or towns, usually.
Наверное, не
So
будет
next slide.
преувеличением
So
сказать,
I
что
would
во
say
время
that
пандемии
during
коронавируса
pandemic of
интернет-торговля была своего рода
coronavirus, the
спасательным кругом для
e-commerce
российских
turned
предпринимателей. Она
into a
поддерживала
savior
экономику,
of the
сохраняла
Russian
рабочие места
economy,
и
and it
обеспечивала
helped
возможность для
to
доходности. Мы можем видеть, что
support the
количество
economy
поставщиков
and
в
the
ноябре
jobs.
возросло до 80 тысяч,
And
что
then
говорит
in
об активном
November,
росте
the
популярности
growth
каналов электронной торговли.
the
Мы, в
growth of
свою очередь,
new
старались оказать производителям
sellers
поддержку.
turned to
Следующий слайд, пожалуйста.
80,000
Упростили регистрацию новых поставщиков,
companies.
убрали
So
лишние
what we do, we
документы, и
simplified
в итоге
the
теперь наш
ways
персонал
of
может ждать за 5
introducing
минут.
a
Мы
new
также
seller, so you
автоматизировали
can be
наш
our new seller in 5
документооборот.
minutes now.
Многие
And a
бизнес-процессы
lot
теперь
of business
проходят в
projects
автоматическом
happen
режиме. Также наша
automatically.
гордость, что
And
более
we are
40
proud
тысяч
of that
поставщиков
more
являются
than
индивидуальными предпринимателями
40,000
и более
of our
80% это
clients are
представители
individual
малого и
entrepreneurs
среднего бизнеса.
and
Следующий
of the
слайд, пожалуйста.
small and medium-sized
Также
market
во время
businesses.
2020 года
Also,
мы
during
начали снижение
2020, we
собственной
started
комиссии.
to
Теперь
lower
она
our own
составляет в отдельных
commission,
категориях
and
товаров
now
от 5 до 10
it
и также
is
до 15%.
in some
Почему мы
groups of
идем на это?
in some
Мы
groups of
верим,
goods we have it
что это позволит
to
российским
10, and in some
производителям
groups to
больше инвестировать в
15%.
качество своего
Why are we
продукта,
doing it?
расширять
Because we
ассортимент
want
на
to
площадках электронной торговли.
stimulate
В
our
конечном итоге выиграют все, и производитель, и
manufacturers to
покупатель, и
enlarge
торговая
the
площадка.
product lists, and
Возможность
it will
снижения
help them to
комиссии – это
sell
еще
more and
результат
will be
постоянного
mutually
стремления к высокой
beneficial.
эффективности за счет автоматизации многих
So
бизнес-процессов и
we may
улучшения
say that
методических процедур.
such platforms
Следующий
and
слайд,
our
пожалуйста.
work will be more
Также
fruitful
на
due
данном
to
слайде вы можете видеть
simplification of
количество наших
work.
распределительных
Also,
центров на
here
территории
you see
Российской
our
Федерации,
distributional centers in
общая
the
по которой
Russian
составляет более
Federation.
400 тысяч квадратных метров.
The main
Следующий слайд, пожалуйста.
so next slide
Также
gives us the
у нас в наличии
information
более
about
28 тысяч точек выдачи заказов в 8 странах. Мы стараемся быть ближе к
28,500
клиентам, и данный тренд и данный факт
points of
действительно
delivery.
демонстрирует очень
So in this
важную
trend
сферу развития
shows
электронной
a very
коммерции.
a very good
Действительно,
trend in the e-commerce. So
онлайн-магазины,
online shops
онлайн-покупки, они становятся все более удобными.
become
Достаточно выйти
clearer and
из
simpler.
своей квартиры, из
So you
своего дома,
just go
дойти
out
до
of your
ближайшего
home,
пункта
you
выдачи,
go
получить свой
to the
заказ и
closest
сэкономить свое время. Следующий слайд,
retailing
пожалуйста.
house, and then you
Также хотелось
get
бы
the good what
рассказать,
you want.
что работать это
Next
очень
slide is
интересно,
that
очень
it's very
просто.
interesting to work.
Вы привозите
So
свой товар,
you
а все остальное
bring your goods,
онлайн-площадка, и в том
and
числе
all
Брандберес
this is the only
делает
thing that you
самостоятельно.
do, and
Что
then
мы
this
сделали для
online
поставщиков во
platform
время пандемии?
turns
Это
works itself.
изменили
And
время,
what we've changed,
изменили процесс регистрации
so
для
we changed the
производителей.
timing
Теперь
for the registration of new sellers. It's about 5. So we made our document turnover more automatic, and we lowered commission to 5% in some good groups. And also we work on the free of charge webinars about e-commerce. Next slide.
Также с недавнего
So
времени
recently
запущена
we start
вариант франшизы
the franchising product for future.
позволяем
So we allow the subjects of small and medium businesses
себя
to develop themselves as the players of the e-commerce world.
Давайте
So
развиваться
let's
вместе
develop
и
together.
совместными усилиями
It's
развивать рынок
the
электронной
motto of us, and that we
Спасибо
share with
большое за
you.
внимание.
And thank you very
Алексей,
much. Let's
спасибо
work
большое
together.
за выступление и за красочную
Thank you very much,
презентацию.
Alexei, for the colorful
Алексей, сразу
presentation
хотел
and
уточнить
a
несколько
good
моментов. Вы еще на связи?
speech.
Да,
I
конечно.
also would like
Вот
to
такой вопрос.
discuss some of the
Вот очень
moments.
здорово,
The
что вы
first
снизили
question is,
комиссию.
That's nice that you loan the commission payment, but looking forward, what is it used for? To attract new clients and to become a monopoly? For example, we had a taxi aggregator, which also, while entering the market, decided to lower the commission, but right now they have 22 or 30%. So what about your payment for the future, several future years? You know, we're currently developing in this sphere, in this direction, but I could say that Russian manufacturers would have an opportunity to invest more into the quality of their production and also to raise the competitive features of the product. You've mentioned that there is 17.1 billion as the export profit which you have, but how do you feel, how do you see, if there are any messages or hints how Russian suppliers could raise the export profit? Could they influence on this, or it is mostly connected with the fact that wild berries exists in this segment? Know that the main message which we should provide our suppliers is the quality of goods, also fulfillment of the goods card or item card for the customers to see the precise information about the goods on the platform. So, in average, what about the quality of Russian goods in comparison to China and other competitors? Could we say that it is better or not, according to your opinion? I could say that Russian goods have quite a good quality, high quality. So Russian production of goods provides a good, quite high quality of the products for the export too. We have a question from Tatiana right now. So the company Amazon, a well-known retail shop, are now investing into the services. They provide not only buying some goods, but also you could pay for the taxi and other services. What about wild berries? Do they also plan to add some services? Thank you for the question. I could say that wild berries is also involved into new services to attach to their platform, and also they plan to launch new services in nearest future. Thank you, Alexei. You are a great GR manager. Thank you for your answers. So, the last speaker on coronavirus trends is Alexander Chaika, the head of the sales department of Zone Smart. Alexander, how could you see us? Could you hear us? Yes, I hear you quite well, but I have some problems with my camera. It is dimmed. Is it better right now? Yes, it's better. Where are you? How are you? Now we are at our office in Moscow, and now I could say that everything is okay. Thank you. So my best regards from Ufa. I could say that, yeah, the regards with your frozen regards were also sent in the morning. Now we have low temperature too. I'm a representative of the company Zone Smart. My name is Alexander Chaika. We are mostly presented. Our main tasks are connected with Amazon, eBay, and others, and also B2B market placement. So we are involved into the integration since 2016, and we provide the full range of services up to the creation of the content and promotion. So this year our services were in a great demand just because a great amount of representatives decided to enter the marketplace, and we have noticed a great amount of tendencies which I would like to share with you in order to use this information in order to start your sales. The next slide, please. Firstly, you could see on here on the screen the numbers of Amazon. That the numbers of Amazon increased in comparison to the previous year. So starting from the beginning of 2020, the Amazon had a rapid growth until summer. I could say that in June and July, it is a standard thing that we have a decline. But even this time, Amazon had an opportunity to increase these numbers. It is, of course, connected with a total lockdown, just because the customers could not spend their time, money and time on some kind of entertainments and also traveling. That's why this money was invested into the Amazon goods and other companies. But what is the type of the items which were ordered? We'll talk a bit further. So what else could we also find in these numbers? Due to the expansion of the online sales, quite a big amount of companies entered the marketplace and also had an increase in the speed of their expansion. The next slide, please. You could see the data on the amount of unique visitors on the marketplace from the June. Just online retailers. As you can see here, among the companies of this line, the most popular item was electronics. We're talking about the ordinary cases. We mostly have it on the 5th place on the turnover. For example, eBay, right now, he reached the 2nd place due to the fact that they had services which provide the opportunity to promote the goods without any additional payment for them, and also with a high speed. Even such kind of traditional giant like Walmart, which gains its presence in e-commerce right now. Not only sellers started the active trade on the marketplace, but also the customers became active too. Even though a big amount of customers came and reached these or that platforms, most of them has already ordered online. So we cannot say that they are new customers in a traditional understanding. They were not attracted during pandemic. They were customers which has already used marketplace, but now they started to spend more money for this. I could say that according to this table, you could see since the beginning of 2020, eBay has reached the amount of 183 million of customers, even if the previous year it was 174 million. Another interesting trend presented there is that the marketplace of the shops invested less into the promotion of their goods just because the traffic had a natural growth. Another trend caused by the attraction of the attention is the involvement of new players on the market. Even that ones which are from the countries which were not included into the e-commerce before. You could see the comparison of the previous year and this year. The dark color is for the this year and light color of the previous one. As for China, it's the only place where the amount of sellers, the percentage of sellers grew this year. So as for the sellers in Amazon and eBay, where the Chinese customers are at least 30% of the of sellers are from China. Now we could also understand that now we have no geographical features for the development of e-commerce. I could say that some of the areas, some of the places, it is easier to organize, and for some, it is quite complicated, like for Amazon. The next slide. Also, the most popular items has changed during the pandemic. Here you can see the results of the research held among American citizens, explaining the most popular categories that people are ready to spend more money for. The first place is taken by the healthcare. Then we have some home supplies. Then the third place, it's not about the delivery, but the food. It's just not an ordinary marketplace purchase. Then we have entertainment, different video games and stream services, then hobbies, the popularity of which increased significantly. Then tools and also electronics and clothes. Which are traditionally quite popular now, we're at the end of the list. So, excuse me, the next slide, please. There's only 1 minute for your presentation. Can you hear me right now? Excuse me, I have problems with internet. Yes, I have 1 minute. The most interesting fact and trend which should be notified is that the majority of customers spend their money on the same items which they used to, and the same amount of money they used to spend on the goods they have. And at least 37% are ready to pay more than usual amount. Unfortunately, I didn't include some of the cases of our company, but I will just present it orally. I think that you will also imagine the numbers like this. We have the company tutorials from Perm with vitamins. They have placed only in March during the pandemic in Amazon. They also had a delivery from Russia. They had at least 200 orders for 2 months, and also received 50 commentaries on Amazon, which is quite a good mark. It could be then the company Modelissima, the models for collectioning, which was also placed on eBay, and at the end of the year, yeah, I could mention that they were placed on eBay before, but at the end of the year, they have reached the amount of the bigger amount of money, the bigger amount of profit that here. So the modelist the modelist company also felt quite okay during the.
Thank you very much, Alexander. So we should be within the timing. Thank you for your presentation. Now let's meet to the question and answer session. And do we have any questions from the audience? So I see one. I see a question, but I guess we need a microphone. Thank you for your presentation, Albert Gary, entrepreneur. I would like to ask you a question. Do we have the points of connection between online and traditional commerce for future? If I understand it, so like you have a trade center and you want to understand, like in modern realities, how can this trading center be integrated into this online retailing things? So, because we worry that the trading centers of nowadays will probably lose their importance. So, Dmitry, I give the floor to you. I don't know what's happening online, but I guess the moderator will help us. So there is a great answer from China to your question, and also we visited the trading centers of nowadays. We looked through different floors, and now we see that most of the floors of the trading centers now include entertainment zones and restaurants, and the first floors have the shops which have a bit different format. There's a big screens, and people come there and to the screens. They come there, they may try the things on and online and order them online, because under the trading center, like this is like there are the rules, regulations for building it this way. So there are people and that deliver the goods, and this thing, this good is this dress looks better because these results were taken from the person itself and not according to the standard sizes. And there we see that you may get a new interesting model which fit you better, and you don't have to walk through a lot of shops. Do we have any commentaries from online here? So if not, so I have a question to all the speakers. I would only support the trading centers. Is like you don't really need to look for the points of connection between online and offline. This is the story about the time spending. The trading centers offer the services of how to survive this experience. Yes, so that you walk physically and you see it physically. Well, in England, for example, there is the shop, a child shop, but it's not only that you buy something for a child, but you come there and you may leave your child for half an hour. He or she may try it on. Yeah, but so of course they may buy it and bring it to a child, but here they can go there, and this is the story. So I want to add that
для здоровья и фитнес, при этом
there are different fitness centers in the
именно этими развлечениями.
trading centers, so you may include a lot of different entertainment zones
Можно еще рассунуть различные вещи
Ну,
и
просто здесь
привлекать.
to this. So if we connect this online with offline, this is not connection. This is of online and offline. This is more about being oriented.
Торговым центрам, наверное, тоже надо идеологически.
So they need to, I think the trading centers should understand that they are not like the marketplace under the roof, but they need to involve new ideas and new trends into their life. So let me imagine. I am an entrepreneur from Ufa. I am like a fashionable lady. I produce fur hats. I may produce 1,000 or 10,000 hats. So the price is from $50 to $100. Where to go? Amazon, Wildberries, Alibaba, Yandex.Market. Where to go and why, and where I would earn more? I would say everywhere. For example, at the company PAL, we have, so we work on all the marketplaces and the audience. In some places, the clothes take more, and sometimes some other branches take more interest. So as Tatiana said, that the streaming gets very popular, which you may shift and show your good to the customer, because it's very good not only to speak about the goods qualities, but also to show them, for example, the fur, how it plays on this, under the light, how you may feel that. So, and I think that even the seller from a very remote part of Russia will get access to this. So I'm sorry for being naive. Marketplaces, can they ask for exclusives? Like, can it happen? Like, if you join Wildberries, then you're not allowed to Amazon. We don't have the monopolies here. This is not a lawful thing. If the marketplaces, they don't ask for something exclusive. If they want some exclusive, they don't want to ask it from the seller. It's easier to buy the company and then produce it itself exclusively. So in summer of this year, we had a hearing in court, in Congress, about the Amazon when it was using their own means to find out which goods are more popular, and then redoes this products under their own brand. So I may say that I haven't ever met such kind of thing in my practice. So here I would say that the answer would be, so to understand and distribute your own powers and how to estimate your experience and the quality of your goods, because it's a good trend, and I support that, to go on all the marketplaces, but you need to understand and realize that to work with these marketplaces, you need some special team, or you need some experience, and you also need a large-scale amount of money. I may say that our colleagues won't lie, that the advertisement on the starting page of Wildberries costs 400 rubles a day. So Amazon is not less expensive. So if we take some examples with this girl with fur hats and Instagram, I would say that.
Для кого?
So it's the product for
Etsy, там, где делают товары
Etsy, the marketplace Etsy,
с сильным упором на личное
with the craft goods and the developers.
среднее между.
When it is something between blogging and selling.
А вот еще такой вопрос.
So one more question to all the speakers.
Вот я, допустим, сейчас знаю.
For example, I know some of my friends. They develop the business in the consulting services
Грубо говоря, там российскому производителю
of how a Russian manufacturer can appear on Amazon because there are some law regulations. There are some like competitive fights, and if somebody wrote a negative feedback for you, and then you may be disqualified from this marketplace, and though it wasn't like a real bad feedback. So will it change this? Will this trend be changed?
Should I start one more time? Talking about myself, I could say about the Amazon platform, just because we analyze it in this sphere, and also from the company Paul, the development of international marketplace, and also to place the goods over there. The first difficulty what we have is to open the company and to register the company, and also to reach the certification of the production. We have to get that certifications, certificates, and I could say it's not that difficult only in Russia, but also in the USA. It costs a lot. Also, while purchasing goods to another country, they could occur the problem that it would be difficult to give it back, to turn them back, and it's the purpose of our legislation system. So there should be a contract signed, and it would be utilized if no one would buy it. Okay, thank you, Dmitry. Is there someone from online to make some additions? So you said that marketplace has quite harsh conditions, and still the users come there just because you provide some special conditions for them. So it's all about the marketplace, which were announced. The reason is that even if we don't want it, marketplaces covers a significant part of the online trade because the model is quite comfortable and everyone enjoys it. As for providing special conditions, people say that they would like to simplify the entering of the market, but in fact, Amazon and other giant marketplaces have two issues to solve. The first one is connected to the fact that in some states they are too responsible for the goods which are sold in the marketplace, and they have some legal issues for this, just because Amazon should control the selling of the goods. That's why the requirements for sellers would be lower. The second problem is that they could provide their own conditions just because they have they provide unique opportunities and services. Talking about the placement of the product on the marketplace, for the majority of goods, if you are selling, for example, Topol or some kind of medical goods, it would be easier to read the certificate for food or vitamins, which are quite popular. It will take at least 5 days to get the certificate because it's not that harsh. Even for makeup goods, it's okay to place if you have a Russian certificate for it. We also had an experience when it was accepted even with Russian certificates. The complications are mostly connected not during the entering the market, but are connected to the rules which they should follow on the marketplace, and also the expenditures they should have on this marketplace. I think it's the major problem. But as for the fact that marketplaces are very harsh for entering, maybe Amazon, yes, but it is not connected to the fact that it is significant or special, because for the USA customers it's quite obvious, it's quite general to and common for usage. So for the rest of the speakers, there is also a question. So what is it, coronavirus? It also motivates us to think over the burning questions of closing the borders for most of the countries and started to focus on the domestic production. And this story with globalization bored them that much. And we could see it also in European countries, the problems between China, on the problems of China. We also see these marketplaces which became great transnational corporations which have no limits. For Alibaba and other marketplaces, there are no borders at all. So what about the prospects? Who would win? Domestic national states which plan to decrease the geopolitical integrations, or this force and at the same time simplicity of marketplace, which makes this national borders unnecessary, less reasonable. So as for me, the COVID-19 pandemic was a time to get some impulse, talking about state and business. Each direction has its own path. As for business, is to expand their influence. As for state, is to keep the limits, to keep especially the legal limits, to make the customer safe. That's why we have a mutual synergy for their further development. And I see that there are no borders for this. And globalization is now into their force.
Thank you, Dmitry. Tatiana. Well, I see the support of my speech in your question, that so still, even in case of lockdowns, which so we still have we may have lockdowns, but the commerce will still exist, and there will have internet, and there are global marketplaces that they may deliver anything to any part of the world. So I see it this way. So we've crossed the non-return point, yes. So they may close the borders, but our minds won't be closed. They may close the border, and not allowed. They may stop letting the products from China, for example, as it happened in May. So do we have online here anyone who would like to add something to this?
Вы знаете, коллеги,
You know,
я бы сказал,
colleagues, I would say that there is one more very interesting thing, that it's now easier through online to it's easier to export now. I know a lot of big and large-scale expert members that started. It was difficult to get online trading, and now this year they turn to offline and easily. And it works and goes on. And what, like, no matter if we have lockdowns or political changes, and this process is like the processes of changing will go on, and they will be developed. Like, I think the technologies will give us new ways of, like, that we will get this oral translation, like we will give a simultaneous translation, like I do now through my ear headphones. And other technologies will stimulate the interaction. And I think that in some years we will have new political trend for more mutual work.
Понял.
Yes, I see it.
Кирилл.
Thank you, Kirill.
Соглашусь с
I would agree with the speakers, and I would say that pandemic of coronavirus will, of course, lead to the digitalization of business and many business processes. Thank you.
Спасибо большое.
Thank you very much. I would like to say thank you to all the speakers.
Получился идеальный тайминг.
I think that this is a perfect timing that we have here, and everyone managed to speak and introduce. Let's applaud to us that we gather together in this difficult, hard time, so we turn bigger, stronger, and wealthier. Hope. Thank you.